The Battle of Al-Shaykh Maskin started with a Syrian Arab army attempt, during the Syrian civil war in Dara Governorate, to capture Al-Shaykh Maskin and thus secure the Dara-Damascus highway. 2 days later, the rebels launched their offensive, codenamed Edhola al-Ahem al-Bab, and Hadm al-Jeddah, to take control of Al-Shaykh Maskin and the nearby town of Nawa. The battle. Initial Syrian army assault. On the morning of the 1st of November, the army attacked the town, quickly capturing the majority of the eastern part of the town after the rebels retreated towards the cemetery in the eastern district. By the early afternoon, government forces had secured the cemetery, thus taking control of the whole eastern district. They then pressed forward towards the western district and captured the city center. FSA-led offensive. On the 3rd of November, the rebels announced the beginning of the Battle of Edhola al-Ahem al-Bab, with the aim of controlling Al-Shaykh Maskin. 3 days later, rebels advanced inside the town after they launched an operation to capture the strategic Tel Hamad Hill base on the west side of the town, ending up controlling most of Shaykh Maskin, before the army managed to recapture ground in the east and reach the town cemetery. According to Al-Masdar News, Al Jazeera correspondent Mohammed Noor was wounded on the 7th of November while covering the battle. It also claimed that the rebels retreated from the southern district to Ibtaa and confirmed that the army retreated from the checkpoints it captured in the western district the day before. The next day, rebels captured the 8th of March tower inside the town and Tel al-Hamad. On the 9th of November, rebels captured the Al-Hesh northern and southern hills, the army training ground, Al-Rabah battalion base, Al-Konkos battalion base, the medical base, Al-Hajjiyah tanks battalion base and Hora checkpoint around the city of Nawa. Later that day, rebels took control over the entire city after the army retreated towards Brigade 112 HQ base as well as Shaykh Maskin. Brigade 112 HQ was eventually captured by the rebels according to 2 Arab news agencies. Both local rebel groups and the Al-Nusra Front claimed credit for the opposition advance. Syrian state television, SANA, said troops were redeploying and reorganizing in the Nawa area in order to prepare for upcoming fighting. At the end of the day, the army advanced inside Shaykh Maskin. As of the 10th of November, according to a military source, the army was still present in the south and east districts of Shaykh Maskin, and reportedly cleared the 2 besieged areas surrounding Base 82 and Brigade 112. The next day, rebels advanced in Shaykh Maskin and took control of new positions and eventually captured the eastern neighborhood on the 12th of November. In response to the rebel gains, the army decided to reassign the Sucur al-Sahara led by Col. Muhammad Jaber. On the 13th of November, an army convoy from Homs under command of Colonel Muhammad Jaber headed towards Nawa, Shaykh Maskin and Isra. The reinforcements were described by Al-Masdar as much needed as the army lacked the manpower to conduct counter-attacks to restore lost ground in the province of Dara. The next day, rebels announced the start of the second phase of the offensive in Shaykh Maskin against the Brigade 82 main base, the eastern neighborhood, Al-Jardate and Al-Sakrin buildings, the northern checkpoint and the officers' housings. That day, rebels advanced in the Brigade 82 area of Shaykh Maskin. On the 15th of November, rebels took wide parts of the Al-Dali area as the army retreated from it. At least 11 rebels were killed that day. The next day, rebels captured the 60th Battalion base near Al-Saheli and Al-Dali villages. On the 17th of November, Al-Masdar reported that the army recaptured the village of Al-Dali and Al-Arid. The recapture of the hill was confirmed by pro-opposition sources. Al-Masdar also claimed that the army ambushed a large al-Nusra contingent in the northern district of Shaykh Maskin. As of the 18th of November, the Syrian rebels were slowly capturing the Dara Governorate and seized the headquarters of the 82 Brigade base. Syrian army counter-offensive. In late November, heavy fighting took place in Sheikh Maskin after the army launched a counter-offensive, supported by Hezbollah, to recapture lost ground. On the 25th of November, a military source reported that the 12th Brigade of the 5th Division of the Syrian Army had re-established their supply route in the strategic town of Sheikh Maskin after recapturing the Nawa al-Dawar road. The source also claimed that a large number of al-Nusra fighters, including the leader of Katieb Ansar al-Sharia, Sami al-Safadi, and 16 others, were killed in the area, and that 3 T-55 tanks, taken from the army in Nawa, were destroyed. On the same day, the same military source claimed that the 175th Brigade was on the outskirts of Nawa, where it looked to breach Jabhat al-Nusra defenses and recapture the surrounding hills overlooking this large city in the Daraa province. However, opposition news agency SLN News claimed that the rebels repelled the army attack from the eastern district of Sheikh Maskin, leaving scores of pro-government fighters dead. On the 26th of November, a Hezbollah military leader was killed in Sheikh Maskin, according to the SOHR. On the 30th of November, army units recaptured the eastern neighborhood of Sheikh Maskin, forcing the rebels to pull back to the rear lines of defense. That day, local Iranian media announced the burial of the Hassan Hasbawi, the second highest-ranking commander from Khuzestan province killed in Syria. He was killed in Daraa. By the 3rd of December, the army, backed by Hezbollah and Iraqi volunteers, was gaining ground in Sheikh Maskin and controlled the northeast neighborhoods and the area east of the town on the road to Isra. A reporter of the pro-opposition news agency Syria Mubashir accused the army of using human shields. Later that day, rebels reportedly advanced in the military housing area. 7 rebels, including a brigade commander, were killed. Rebel counter-offensive. On the 7th of December, the al-Nusra Front detonated 2 car bombs in the military housing area, resulting in an advance for the rebels in the area and the eventual capture of the military housing by rebel forces. One of the armored cars used in the attack previously belonged to the UNDOF mission. According to the al-Nusra media outlet, the driver made it safely back. The vehicle was remotely detonated after it was parked near the officers' quarters. On the 9th of December, 2 reporters and a cameraman of the pro-opposition Orient TV were killed in the town after their car was hit by a rocket. On the 15th of December, Syrian intelligence official General Rustam Ghazala destroyed his own villa in the nearby village of Ghaffar as rebels were approaching it after they captured the eastern district of Sheikh Maskin in a recent push. Aftermath. More than a month later, rebel forces launched a new offensive and subsequently captured the Brigade 82 base and overran most of Al-Shaykh Maskin.